So just a little note for the start of this video, guys. So we finished harvest. We finished harvest like the end of October. Well, not even that really. I think it was towards the beginning of November because we got snowed out and we had like 5 acres of milo left and we finally got done. But I fell extremely behind on editing. So my harvest videos are currently irrelevant. So this will be my first video since our day 2 of harvest. We only really had like 4 days I had videos of. Actually, 4 days. We had like 4 days of corn harvest that we had videos of. And I think we had like 2-3 days of milo harvest that I had videos of. But they're so irrelevant now that I'm just going to skip ahead to the first video of our Allis Chalmers 185 project. I don't remember if I talked about it in the next clip after this time lapse, but so back about the end of September, I think it was about the end of September, it spun a main bearing on the connecting rod to the crankshaft. Spun one of those bearings. I have a bearing over here. Spun one of these little guys on number 4. So we brought it. I'm going to switch my camera real quick. We brought this old girl in here and we tore it apart. We pulled everything off the block, valves, everything. And we pulled the block out of the frame. We pulled the pistons and everything. We pulled the rods and everything out. The sleeves, liners, whatever you want to call them. Then we just disconnected the rods from the pistons. And the crank got sent off last week. I don't remember if we got... The crank should have came back today, but I haven't seen the crank. Yeah, it's not in the engine. So I want to assume that we don't have the crank. But... and I believe we sent the rods off too. I believe we just sent the rods off today. We're getting a new clutch for it and a new... I forgot. Pressure plate for the clutch. I don't know. I think we're keeping the flywheel. I think the flywheel's still good enough. But, so we had it all torn down, and I talked to Dad. I was like, hey, Dad, you know, this tractor, it's really faded. We've already got it torn down in the barn, so why don't we repaint it? And Dad kind of agreed, so we really stripped it. As you can see, I've done a little work on the hood. I did a little welding right around there where the air breather tube goes to. And I primed that, but I've been in the process of sanding it. And I sanded everything that I was going to need to... Everything that is bare metal on this thing gets sanded, primed, and then resanded. So everything that was bare, I sanded real quick, and I primed it. And kind of let it dry. So then I can just sand the whole hood as one. I don't think you guys can see them. But you can see them. Right there are the fenders. Why am I talking about this? This is... Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Seen in that wonderful little time lapse there. We have the Allis Chalmers 185 here. It spun a main bearing. For those of you who don't know, that's the bearing on the crankshaft to the connecting rod. It spun that on the number 4. So we split it because the crank needs to get sent off. We split it tonight. Chris and I did. And then tomorrow, Doug and Bob's our shop manager. He's a certified diesel mechanic. They are going to pull the engine block out of here, flip it upside down, pull the crank out of it, send the crank off to get reworked on. So I want to show you guys something real quick. So for those of you who've never worked on anything, don't know how a clutch works. So this is what engages your clutch, this back here. Your clutch linkage goes to that, and that comes forward when you push in the clutch pedal, and it just and it goes against these little guys here to pull and engage your clutch, which in turn disconnects the engine from the transmission. The engine sits here still spinning like so, and then your transmission is disengaged. That's how a clutch works. I'll give you guys a little demonstration, make sure you guys can see. See how that slides in and out? That's how your clutching works. You learn something new every day, guys. Especially when you're around me. I know our setup looks a little sketchy. Got a 10-ton jack stand holding up the ass end. Little jack stand under the drawbar, keep it from flipping over backwards. I got a transmission jack holding that's currently seeping pretty good. And bending the hell out of that jack. Out of that big freaking jack. I might have to change some things here because I am not liking the looks of that. I'm definitely going to have to change this. I could probably use another jack stand, to be honest with you. I'm going to jack this up here again. Okay, if I go any more about at the point of flipping over. So, I'm going to crank this up some more. And we'll see if we can get her supported. This is going to be part one of this series. We put her back together. We're going to we get her running, we'll put her back together, and then we're going to drive it down to the other shop, tear part of it back apart again. I'm going to repaint it and restore this tractor to its old former glory. This is the last tractor that my grandfather bought brand new. I believe my dad was 14 or 15. My dad picked it out. He drove it home from the dealership. So this tractor will probably be on Seeker Farms for a very long time, so it has sentimental value. One thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull these halogens out. And I know that's not stock, and some of you are going to chew my ass for it, and that's not cool, and that's not right. I really don't care. They're not even hooked up. But I'll pull those out, and I'm going to replace them with round Thompson LED lights, because I already have LED lights on the back. And we're going to make this thing light up the night. I already have paint in for this thing. My paint, the Allis Chalmers corporate orange paint for all the orange parts are in. The Allis Chalmers cream for the rims. And this one has gray rims, but the back hubs are in. Logos, decals are in. They're right here. Those are all in. So just kind of waiting to get it put back together and start painting it. Well, gotta sand it down first and then start painting it. But so that's kind of a little overview for you guys there. As you can see, we got all 6 of the brake calipers pulled out of there. Yes, I am just screwing with you guys. I know what these are. I'm not a complete idiot. I know they're not brake calipers. Or are they? Guess you'll never find out. No, I know what they are. Then you get your cylinder life sleeves in there. And you got your pistons and your rods and all the fancy crap. And my big ass bag of mitts. But I suppose you guys are tired of hearing me ramble on, so we'll see you when we pick up working on this tractor here again. So as I was talking about before I started this video, I don't know why I was going over all this right now, or back then, but up there are both the fenders. The fenders are both sanded down, and the hood scoop's up there. The hood scoop has been sanded down and primed. The hood scoop will be painted black, just the same as this. It'll be painted gloss black. Air breather tube is done. It'll be painted gloss black as well. Everything that will be gloss blacked will have good primer on it, like this. Smoother than a baby's butt. But that way it can have a good stick. We got some parts for this thing. As you can see, the battery box is bent and destroyed. They did that back when this thing was fairly new. So we bought a new battery box for it. And the grills on these tractors are notorious for falling off. So we got a new grill for it. You know, I need to sand the grill down and everything. I need to sand the battery box down too, but it's been primed. So, yeah, so my plan is, because I need to wash this because nobody washed it before it came in here. The front end, I had the tires still on it. I took it out and I washed it. I brought it back in here. I started sanding on it in places like this. This is all sanded down, nice and beautiful, smooth. And my hand is, orange. I'll still need to blow it off and everything and get it clean. But, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get the front end, the hood, and the fuel tank. Fuel tank still needs to be washed. But I'm gonna get all that sanded down, and then this weekend I can paint all that, paint the front end, and paint the engine. So then they can put the engine back together, put the engine back inside the front end, and then, because all that on that table goes to the engine, and I cannot cover that up. And so then I will just come in here, I'll bring the power washer in here, I'll power wash the whole back end of this tractor and all that, and I'll sand what I can. Some of the stuff I won't really be able to sand very well, but I will sand what I can get to, and then we'll paint that. We'll take the tires off and we'll paint them. We're gonna put brakes on it while the tires are off because the brakes haven't worked in a while, but that's enough of this. So I'll get back to my sanding deal and I'll talk to you guys when I have the hood done. Well, hello there, guys. So, I got the power washer outside. I got it building some pressure here real quick. While it's doing that, I'm going to move some power tools out of the way that are currently in the way. Sander and drill. These need to get moved. I'll set them on mechanics toolbox here because that's going to be covered. And I'm gonna wash the rear end of this tractor while we got her in here. So I'm gonna try and find a nice place to set you guys to maybe get a time lapse of this. So I'll see you guys in a second. Wow, I didn't realize my video cut out when I was just kind of basically getting started, but she's clean, very clean in fact. What you still see there is just bare metal, it's not dirt. But now I need to try and squeegee the shop floor, get all this water out. And I gotta go feed cows, and I'll come back in here. Hopefully she's dry by then. Start doing a little bit of prep work. I did paint the black stuff last night. Painted the dash column, the dash cluster in there, and the hood scoop, which was up here, it's not there anymore. Peep the Duramax bumper. Fenders are prepped. I painted the air filter housing, and I painted the, I don't know what I want to call it, the clean air intake tube. That's what I'm going to call it for now. Painted that last night. I still need to paint the frame where the seat will mount. We're going to get a new seat for it, but it'll still mount to this old frame, so we'll get her nice and painted up a lot. For now, I think that's going to end her for this video. The next part of the series, you'll see a little bit more prep, and you'll see starting to get some paint on her. So I will see you guys in the near future.